This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All contents provided by this channel is meant for educational purpose only.
Let's talk about hunting businesses. Now, everything that we've done so far is kind of organizing itself into this lesson. You're going to see bits and pieces of search operators. You're going to see LinkedIn show up again. And even though we've kind of covered those topics, we get to see it again and kind of reemphasize with adding some more stuff into it. And that's really what OSINT is a big mix of all the tools that you learn and different strategies on how to use them. So let's take a look now at how we can utilize LinkedIn and Google in searching for hunting businesses. So the first thing I'm going to do is go out to LinkedIn. Now, what I want to show you is LinkedIn here. And from LinkedIn, I kind of want to just think about a strategy. So we're going to talk about hunting down a company. So the company I'm going to look at first is going to be TCM Security. It's just going to stay on par with the course. And we're just going to go up to the search. Okay, so we're just going to search for TCM Security. I already have it in my recent searches, but here, and I'm doing this from a profile that has nearly no connections, or if any connections at all, because this is going to show you more of a true aspect as to what we can see and what we can learn if we have kind of limited options to us. Now, if I did this from my profile, which is typically where I search from, we would have greater hits because I have a lot of connections. I would get to see more, and I would just have a greater idea of the landscape. But let's take it from a limited information perspective because I think that'll teach us even more. So looking at this is the company page here. Now we can go out to the company website. We can enumerate that. We just talked about looking at company websites. So you kind of have a good idea there. But from here, let's say that we've done all that. We've done our research. Now we're coming to LinkedIn and Google and looking up more information. So from here, what can we glean from this page? Well, we can see that there's 10 employees here. We can look at the about. Sometimes in the about, they have the address. So you can see here it's headquartered in Charlotte, 0 to 1 employees, but there's 10 on LinkedIn. You get a phone number here. You get a website. So this is information that we can be writing down. We also have a map, but it just kind of shows you that it's headquartered in Charlotte. It doesn't say specifically where. If we come through here, though, we can perhaps find an address later, and we'll see how to do that. Are there any job postings? There's no job postings right now. However, we'll take a look here in a minute, if you see up here, on how to hunt jobs and what we can see from job postings. What can we do with people? Is there anything in people? Okay, there are some people that claim that they work here. We could see at the different locations who's in the United States. It looks like a lot of them are in South Africa, where they studied. But the one thing that we're seeing is there are no names here. Okay, so we can identify who this person is, most likely, right? But say we didn't know who the CEO was. We'll talk about that in a second. But some of these people have images. So here's an image here, here's an image, here's another image. So perhaps we can identify these people via their image. Um, do we have any videos on the site? Just one video, two videos actually. And is there any information? So in this one, you could see in this episode of Cyberbits, Heath Adams is joined by Wael Hassan. So maybe there's some information here about either who works for the company or any sort of detail. So watching the videos could be of use too. Images are huge. So anytime that a company posts, if you go to their page and look at their posts, there's a lot of information that can be gleaned from images. So to kind of sidetrack just for a second, a lot of the times when we have physical engagements, some of the things that we're looking for are just information that can be gleaned from employees online or the company online. So if we're going to go on a physical engagement, we want to go either for social engineering purposes or for actual trying to like break and enter. We want to know what we can gather about the company. So if we can see pictures from the company website on here, say there was like a group photo, we can kind of tell what the company dress code looks like. And we saw that kind of with the geographical location when we looked at Tesla. But what is the company dress code? Can we see a badge? Who are the employees? Because if we can look up the employees, possibly they're disclosing information. And I can bring up a picture of that, but let's take a look at this photo really quick. So look at this. This is something that shows up on LinkedIn all the time. Somebody was posting, "Hey, I just had my first week at Duke Energy. Here's my badge. Here's my picture. I mean, this is gold. Okay, this is gold. I could take this. I can duplicate this. I could put this in a badge carrier just like this. And guess what? Now I look like I work at Duke Energy." And it's not that difficult. This is not difficult to duplicate. Super easy, especially if you have something like a badge cloner. If you can get up to near an employee, clone a badge, and then duplicate that onto your own, it's game over. Okay, so there's a lot of opportunities for things like this when you're doing social engineering or you're going on site. Looking through employees' LinkedIn. Another one that I've had in the past would be searching through just social media like Facebook or Twitter. There was one example of a girl that we were looking at for a company. We were looking through all the employees before going on site, and we found this girl who so kindly posted images of her desk, who posted images of her laptop. We could see what applications were open. We could see what was in use. We could see different things on her desk. That gives us all sorts of indicators. What does the inside look like? What does a typical cube look like? Are they using cubicles? What does the desk look like? Are they using laptops? What kind of laptops are they using? Are they on Windows 10? Are they on Windows 7? Are they using applications like Slack? What details can we gather? Remember, the picture says 1,000 words. It really, really does. So any information that we can glean from employees, we're looking at that. We're going through the Twitter accounts. We're going through media posts. We're going through LinkedIn posts, and we're just digging around. So those are the kinds of things that we want to see. Now, let's say we're in this situation where we're looking at people and we're trying to find who's who at this company. Maybe we're trying to do some sort of spear phishing attack or whaling attack or just a regular phishing attack. If we come through here and we look at the people again, well, we have a few images, and what we can do here is we could say like, "Hey, I want to right click and open image in new tab." We've gone through this. We can open a couple new images and just say, "Hey, okay, I've got this picture. Maybe I'll save this photo and see if I can run this through Google Images or TinEye or Yandex or Bing and see if this comes back anywhere." Same with this other photo. The other thing that you can do is there's some Google foo that we can work through. So like let's take this one as an example. Say I want to know who this is because it just says LinkedIn member. We could do something like copy this and see if this comes back for anything. So if we just go to Google, we just come in here, we just do this. Okay. And it comes back for Dean Rogier, right? So if we open this up, this is Dean. He works here. And you can see now, look what do we get? Before, we didn't have a profile. Okay, we didn't have a profile at all. We can't click on this. We can't get to this. Nothing. But with one quick search of the title, now we can say, okay, well, here's Dean. We see Dean's photo. We can get some information about Dean, where Dean's worked, where Dean went to school, what certifications Dean has. And then perhaps we can see Dean's activity and come through here. So has Dean posted anything? So this is where if Dean likes anything, okay, that's great, but I want to see if Dean's posted anything. Dean posted his certification that he got. Cool. No badge picture, nothing of interest here, but now I have a name. Now I can go and say, okay, I'm not going to search for Dean. I don't want to expose anything about him, but I can say, okay, who is Dean? How can I find him? Is there any information about him? What can I do? I can come into contact info. Does he have an email address or phone number in here? Things that we want to try to identify. Other things that we can do is you can kind of limit this search. You can kind of just instead saying, I want to know exactly what. You can do something like an asterisk here and do a wildcard, and you can come in here and say site linkedin.com and see what happens. So here's somebody that's saying they're an IT support technician. I actually don't know this person. I think there's another company out of South Africa that is called TCM Security, and they just say they work for me. But okay, this actually went to my page, but it's saying that this person here is part of this organization, or this person here. So we'd have to look at these. But if you want to actually narrow this down, see how we just got a company page? You can do a /in here like this. And then we narrow it down to people. Because if you think about LinkedIn and how it works, linkedin.com /in / the name that you're looking for. Okay. So here we're looking for specifically people, so we're looking for /in, then we start getting people. So who is Justin Poland here? So it says that they work at TCM Security. Now this is actually looks like perhaps a different TCM Security. This could be he said security technician. It could be something completely different than what we are. So things to think about. We can click on this and see if there's anything. There's nothing here related to this company. So, and then here we can come through here. Here's another one. So if we're searching the company this way, we can see, okay, who are the people that work here? If we click on this, let's see if it does anything for us. You need to build out your network. So that's the issue. We see that, okay, there's a director of growth and strategy. We can see if we can find him at all based on his title. Again, with a search here. Hit or miss. He actually doesn't show up very well, which is impressive. He's good at staying incognito with his searching, but so it depends on the person that you're looking for. But this is one way to kind of go through and find employees. We could also try to search for his picture and see if we can find him either with the reverse image search or with like a Yandex where we see people with similar photos, and see if we can find him in social media anywhere else, and identify perhaps his name, or if we just look for the director of growth and strategy at TCM Security and see if that comes up anywhere else. We might be able to find that. Maybe it doesn't come up on LinkedIn, but maybe we can find it somewhere on another page. So there's different ways to kind of navigate through this. And just because you have a limited space like this doesn't mean that you can't find the person. There's also the capability of finding people on the right-hand side that are people also viewed. For example, Joe. Joe's come up before, but we're going to pick on Joe again. If you come through here, you might be able to see people that have worked at TCM Security before. There's some sort of tie, because look, this is TCM Security here as well. So if you see people that have ties to us, or if you look through the other views, you might be able to find related people. So something to think about. There's advanced searching that you can do based on this, and you can really narrow it down and see if you can find it. Pub is another one that you can do instead of LinkedIn. If I can do it, linkedin.com/in. You can also search /pub. You can do a or in or pub if you want to. There's many different options that you can do in here. The other thing that I want to point out is that there are websites out there. So if you go to like opencorporates.com, this is a good website. If you just type in TCM Security, come here, see what you can find. You can also search by name, by the way, so you can search by officers or company, just because there's one person. So let's see. If you open up this one in North Carolina, you can find now the address, the registered address. You can find the head office address. You can find different things related to this. You can also find, okay, who are the executive officers? Where is this located? How long has it been in business? And you can click on some of this stuff and find actual filings. So depending on how you click, like here's an annual report. You can go see the annual report, or this is where it's picking the data up from. You can also see it from here on the articles of incorporation from the filings. If you click on this, there's some place that it'll actually take you to the legal documents in here too. So if you click around, you can find the data here. But if we go to like, you can see where they added an officer here as part of events, and you can look at this. There's just different areas, so you can find out more information from this website, and it can actually take you to other websites as well, where you can see, like if you look at the source down here, you can come and see, okay, here's where it came from. Now you can come in here and say, hey, I want to search for this company. Sometimes they'll link you directly to the company, but you can search for business registration, and then look, there's the annual report that needs to be filed, and then they have a PDF copy that you can download. So from here, perhaps you can get information about the executives, the shareholders, addresses, phone numbers, anything related to this organization. But you can also find it just from here as well, depending on how it is. So this is one that's pretty decent. Another one is this AI hit that you can come through and just search for. And just the thing to point out too, before we go back or before we go forward with this AI hit, you can come in here and search for officers. So you could say Heath Adams like this and say, okay, I know Heath Adams is of TCM Security, but where else might he be? So you can click on Heath Adams, only TCM Security. So perhaps there would be more here and you could see, but perhaps what other companies he's involved in, or if he's on the board somewhere else or anything. You can also see where the registered agent is for the organization, who that registered agent is. Maybe it's a company that is owned by me, and then I have other companies underneath me. There's other ways to kind of navigate around this. So explore all links available to you. From here, this aihitdata.com is another one that you can search for. So if you type in TCM security in here, you can search and you can see, hey, tcmsec.com, this is the one we're looking for. And it says, what data can we find? Well, they'll give you an obfuscated email address. We can kind of tell this one's info. But if you register, perhaps you might get this email address. I've never actually really registered for this. This is just kind of something else I'll come and search for to see if I could find any other contact information. But here's a phone number. Here's an email address. And then if we go back, we can kind of see, okay, here are the IP addresses for the website. Now we did this when we were looking up the website information. And if you remember, these 192 addresses are actually old. So who knows when this data has been crawled? Oh, it was crawled 267 days ago. So remember, we just got a new website, new hosting, new everything. So this is all based on WordPress from a long time ago. So yeah, it depends. You don't really get that many updates here, but it's another place to come and look for data, perhaps old data, which could be useful as well. Another thing to look at when we're coming through here is, and I searched for jobs, but if you come to Indeed, let me go back. If you go to Indeed, I looked for accountants in Washington, D.C. I just wanted to put in a random job title just to kind of show you. So if we come through here and we see, we take a look at this one. Look, this is a accounting manager for a restaurant group. You click on the job details, and sometimes the job details will give a lot of information away. So if we look through here and we look at the duties and responsibilities and the preferred skill sets, stuff like that, you might be able to find information. Like one right here, let me make this bigger. If you look at this, look, familiarity with Restaurant 365. So if you're doing reconnaissance on an organization, you're trying to find out what software they use or what they might use internally, and you're trying to, prepare some sort of detail. Like if I wanted to maybe social engineer this company, I might revolve this around Restaurant 365. I might do some more information or information gathering on this software and see how it works. What can I do? Maybe if I want to, accounting department could be a really sensitive area. Maybe I want to try to send a phishing email specifically to somebody who is an accountant within this organization and say, hey, can you please enter your credentials in for this software, blah, 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 whatever we want to do to make sure that we gather some credentials here. And then guess what? We can perhaps log into the software using this. If we have access, if it's third party remote, we'd have to do more research, but this is something that is big information here. And so job postings are a big place to go and see more information about a company, and just find additional details. Now, what you can do as well, let me make this a little smaller, is you can come and search the company. Like this empirical concepts is one I was looking at. You can copy this and say, hey, what kind of jobs are out there for this? And search right here and see what happens. Now, this is a better way to tell you where the jobs are. And I'll show you why. Because you could come out to Google, and this is a potential way to do this as well. You might be able to come here and just say, okay, Empirical Concepts Inc., and then just do something like siteindeed.com. And you can come here and look at perhaps their page on here. If you come here and look at their page and you go to jobs, there's not really any jobs. Now, this is an empirical concepts. This is an Inc. So the better way to actually do this would be like this, and then put it in quotations. And now we got this one. Okay, so if we come here, there's that one. This one brings up jobs. But if you're looking at this one and you go here, you could tell this is certified public accounting. This is the one that we were looking for. If you cut them jobs, it doesn't show any jobs for them. So though we know there are open jobs because we saw it right here. So it's better to kind of search in, for Indeed at least, to come search in here for the jobs and where you're looking for that company. Of course, if we wanted to just look up this company and see if they have a page, which they do have a LinkedIn, they also have, here's a CPA. So perhaps they have jobs on their own profile. So we come here, we can look at what people work here again, see how many people they have. 17 employees. Same thing. Now we would have to research these images. We'd have to research the job titles, see if we could find anything about them. We can go through and look at jobs and see if they have any hirings. They're not hiring based on this. Come to their website, look at careers. Perhaps they're hiring here, and see if they have anything. And it doesn't look like they have. Let's see if they have any employment listings. Go here and let's see where they put it. Okay, so they use Workforce Now. They use ADP. And then here's these 4 job postings that we saw from before. So even though, again, on the profile it said there's nothing here, we saw it here by searching, and we saw it here by searching their site. So they didn't have it on LinkedIn, but they do have it based on their website. So it's good to look at all locations, good to do as much research as possible, see what you can identify from these organizations. So again, let's recap. There are a lot of potentials for researching a company. We can identify the employees that are working at the company. We can identify who the head honchos are, who the C-level executives are. We can figure out the organizational structure depending on the size of the company. We can look for individuals that work at the company and their social medias and identify if they're posting sensitive information like desk pictures or office pictures, if they're posting a picture of their badge. Any picture of where they work is always useful information. Are the companies themselves posting pictures? That'll give us ideas of dress code. I've seen badges in photographs, like employee photographs, where people have forgot to tuck their badge in or hide it for the image and it gets posted online. There's a lot of different information that we can gather. We can look at the job descriptions. We can look at hiring process. We can just research people and companies and just dig through this data to find more information. So depending on your mission and your cause and what you're looking at, from what purposes you're looking at for these things, would be an indicator as to what you're going to search for. But hopefully this provides some information for you and get your wheels spinning on how you would kind of hunt this information down and why you would be doing it. So that's it for this video and this section. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next one.